this is JC. Welcome to Missed Again, where every missed shot is a lesson. It's not about perfect play, it's about my struggles and honest progress. Today I'm going to share an approach to one-rail kicking that will develop your ability to aim and shoot one-rail kick shots instinctively. This includes table width kicks, table length kicks, and corner and side pocket one-rail kick shots. Regardless of the type of shot, I believe that all players should strive for instinctive aiming. That means you aim subconsciously and allow your mind to make the exact calculations, while you consciously focus on your fundamentals when executing the shot. Any system or method should just be a guide to serve as a framework to develop your instinctive aiming. A system or method should not be a crutch that you have to rely on all the time. The problem with many systems is that they are not actually systems, as the instruction always ends up with asking you to make adjustments by feel, such as put a bit of spin or hit harder or softer depending on the situation. This can be very frustrating for beginners and advanced beginners. While developing a feel is part of instinctive aiming, I hope to show how to experiment and develop this feel in an easy and logical way for one-rail kick shots. I'm also going to show you the spot on the wall hack that might change your game completely. I have not seen the spot on the wall described comprehensively for one-rail kick shots, so I'm going to do my best to explain and demonstrate how to use the spot on the wall during games. As this is quite a long video that covers a lot of material, I will put the timestamps for all the different sections in the description of the video for easy reference. Let's get started with the one-rail kick angle for instinctive kicking. The first challenge of making a one-rail kick shot is to figure out the kick angle. There are different methods to do this. One common method is the parallel shift from the midpoint between the cue ball and object ball. Honestly, this never worked consistently for me. There are also numbering systems with calculations, but I can't even count to 5, so there's no way I can do that. In my opinion, these methods also do not help develop your instinctive aiming. The most intuitive angle to use as a foundation is angle in and angle out, or angle of incidence equals angle of reflection for those of you who like big words. If you can find the equal angle in, angle out, you will have the right kick angle. Let's explore how to visualize this kick angle. After cue ball and 9 ball set up for a one-rail kick shot. This is the easiest layout for a kick shot as the two balls are in line. This means the dividing line between both balls at the top of the rail will be the aiming point. Imagine an isosceles triangle, where there are two equal sides of the triangle starting from the aiming point. I always use the rail as the aiming point and not the cushion, as the diamonds on the rail can be good visual references for other kick shots. But technically, you could use the cushion. Once I've determined the aiming point, I use a medium stroke with no spin and shoot at that point. Everyone's stroke speed is different, so you have to determine what is your medium stroke that will become your baseline. If the stroke is true with no spin, you will contact the object ball. Here's another scenario where the cue ball is closer to the top rail than the object ball. I've also placed it further to the left, so the kick angle will be different, which means the aiming point will also be different. Start by visualizing an isosceles triangle again. But you must extend the side line of the triangle past the cue ball so that the side line connects with the baseline of the object ball. You can use your cue and finger to point to the spots on the table to help with the visualization. Adjust the shape of the triangle as needed till you get the correct aiming point. Once again, use your medium stroke with no spin, and if the stroke is true and the cushion is not deformed, you should make that kick shot. Here's the final scenario where the object ball is closer to the top rail than the cue ball. The visualization method is exactly the same, just the other way around. Visualize the isosceles triangle once again and determine the aiming point. Shoot with your medium stroke with no spin. As with all types of shots, this will take practice, but over time, you'll be able to visualize the triangle and aiming point without physical aids for most kick shots. Now that we know how to visualize the kick angle, let's talk about the real-world application and how ghost ball aiming comes into play. While I have been placing the object ball in front of the pocket for demonstration purposes, in reality, the object ball will not always be there. It may be near the pocket or just out in space. This is where the ghost ball aiming comes into play. When aiming for the kick shot, you must aim at the ghost ball and not the actual ball. The ghost ball is the position you want the cue ball to end up in to contact the object ball for the ideal result. Visualize the ghost ball in the correct position and visualize your isosceles triangle between the cue ball and ghost ball. If you do not use the ghost ball aiming, your aiming point for the kick shot will be off. Once you can visualize the kick angle, it is important to know the variables that will affect the kick angle. The first is speed. As far as possible, you should shoot the kick shot with your medium stroke with no spin. But understanding the effects of speed on rebound angles is critical. A harder hit will reduce the kick angle as it compresses the cushion more and rebounds at a smaller angle. So if I take the exact same shot but shoot hard, I miss the kick shot as it comes up short. Now you might think, that's okay because you only always shoot at a medium speed. However, the shortened kick angle will still affect you in gameplay. This happens when the cue ball is near the rail you're kicking off from. When you use a medium speed from a distance away from the kicking rail, the cue ball loses speed as it travels across the table to the rail. But if the cue ball is near the rail, it does not have time to lose speed, so will hit the cushion relatively hard and the angle will be shortened. So you must adjust for this. One way is to shoot slightly to the side of your aiming point. In this case, since I'm kicking to the right, I'll shoot to the right of my aiming point. Unfortunately, this is where feel and experience are needed to determine how much to the right to compensate. There's no formula. As a guide, the further the kick shot is, the more you have to compensate as the angle must widen out. For the sake of completeness, a shot with a slower pace will result in a wider angle, although the effects are not as pronounced. Here I shoot the same shot, but with a slower pace. While not that obvious, you can see that the kick angle opened up slightly and I hit the right side of the object ball. The next variable that affects the kick angle is top and bottom spin. The effects of top and bottom spin shot with medium speed are not that apparent if it is a short kick shot. It becomes more apparent at further distances. Top spin opens up the kick angle, but is not that pronounced even at this distance. However, it is very obvious when you use bottom spin. Bottom spin shortens the kick angle just like a hard shot. Therefore, a hard shot with bottom spin will shorten the kick angle significantly. Finally, we come to side spin. Side spin can be used to manipulate the rebound angle of the cue ball off the cushion. If you shoot with a true straight shot with a center ball hit, the cue ball should travel up and down in a straight line. But if you add side spin, the cue ball will spin out to the right or left, depending if you apply right or left spin. What you need to do is experiment where you need to hit the cue ball for it to spin out at a specific angle. There's no specific point on the cue ball that will apply accurately for everyone. It depends on your stroke, speed, and even cue tip. So there's no point to tell you to hit half a tip or a full tip to the right. You must experiment and develop the feel for yourself. For example, for me, if I want the cue ball to rebound to hit one diamond away, I hit about 3/4 tips to the right. But again, this may not be the case for you. If I want the cue ball to rebound and hit 2 diamonds away, I hit about 1 full tip to the right, but with a little more speed. Again, you must figure out what works for you and lock it into your muscle memory. Let's have a look at a real-world application of using side spin on a kick shot. In this layout, assume I need to kick the cue ball to the 9 ball in the bottom corner, but the 8 ball is blocking the natural kick angle. I will have to shoot much straighter to avoid the 8 ball. If I visualize the kick angle, I can see that the nearest point I can hit the rail is approximately 3/4 a diamond away from my true aiming point. I use my baseline knowledge of how much spin to apply to the cue ball to spin out 1 diamond. I adjust slightly for a little less and shoot. The spin widens the angle out, allowing me to pocket the 9 ball. Now I'm going to share the spot on the wall hack applied to one rail kicks that can technically replace everything that I've discussed for the past 8 minutes. But do note, the spot on the wall does not develop your instinctive aiming, which I think is important. But it is a very powerful hack. Let me first explain what is the spot on the wall and how it works. The 5 balls on the table, all have a different kick angle to the 9 in the bottom right corner pocket. That means each ball has its own aiming point for the kick shot on the rail. Believe it or not, the aiming lines of all these shots will converge to the same point a distance away. Let me illustrate this with 5 cues. As you can see, if you extend the shooting lines of all 5 balls past the table, they all converge towards the same point. In my case, I've placed a stool to mark the position. The exact position is the back right corner of the stool. This is the converging point of all the shooting lines and is also referred to the spot on the wall. Let me put a red light in place so you can see the exact converging point. In practice, you will have to find a spot in the distance at least 5 feet or 1.5 meters away from the table that you can identify as the converging point. It can be a stool, the edge or leg of a table, or a mark on a wall. Just choose a permanent object that will not be moved. In this pool hall, I actually count the pleats on the curtain. The principle is that if you aim to shoot the cue ball at this converging point from almost anywhere on the table, it will hit the cushion and kick to the corner pocket. The question then is how to find this converging point. The key is to first find the correct track line. Each corner pocket has actually 2 converging points that can be used to shoot at from anywhere on the table. The first converging point will cover the cue ball position on any part of the table till the second diamond line from the target corner pocket. In this case, the first converging point covers any spot on the table to the left of the red dotted line. To find the track line to this converging point, you need the kick aiming point from the side pocket to the target corner pocket, specifically from the side pocket diamond position to the pocket diamond position. For most tables, the kick aiming point will be the second diamond on the top rail, because angle in equals angle out. However, this may not always be the case. Let me demonstrate. If I were to aim and shoot from the side pocket diamond to the second diamond on the top rail, the cue ball will come up short. I want to find the track line that delivers the cue ball from the side pocket diamond to the bottom corner pocket with a medium stroke with no spin. I adjust my aiming point by about 1 inch of the second diamond and try again. The cue ball goes straight into the corner pocket, and I know this is my track line for this corner pocket. In practice, if possible, before a game during practice or warm-up, go around the table to check your track lines for each corner pocket. Note if you have to aim for the second diamond or make an adjustment. You do not need to identify the spot on the wall for each pocket. You just need to know the track line for each. Once you have found the track line, you can find the converging point or spot on the wall. Simply look at your track line. Lower your eye line to table height and add the kicking aiming point on the top rail. Then look beyond for at least 5 feet or 1.5 meters. You want to look for something that can be identified as your converging point. In my case, it is the back right corner of the stool that I've marked with the red light. Whatever your object or mark is, remember it, and that is your spot on the wall. So to recap, I've identified my spot on the wall based on the correct track line. Using this spot on the wall as my kick aiming point, I do not need to worry about visualizing any kick angles. I just focus on aiming at the spot on the wall and delivering a straight medium stroke with a center ball hit. If executed correctly, the cue ball will almost guarantee travel to the bottom corner pocket. And this works for any spot on the table before the second diamond line from the target corner pocket. Remember, for cue ball positions that are closer to the rail, you must account for speed. You can either aim slightly to the right of the spot on the wall or use right spin as I prefer to do. This will ensure the cue ball rebound angle will widen to reach the corner pocket. One limitation of the spot on the wall hack is that it is used to shoot object balls in front of the corner pocket. It cannot be used to shoot object balls in space like other aiming methods. However, it is possible to make some adjustments to hit object balls that are near the pocket. For example, if the 9 ball is on the short rail here, we can still use the spot on the wall to contact it. First, use the ghost ball to visualize where the cue ball should end up. That position is about 3/4 a diamond away from the corner pocket. This means we can aim slightly to the right of the spot on the wall to widen the kick angle. You could also use spin. Both methods require experience and feel to know how much to adjust and compensate. But in concept, the spot on the wall still works for such shots. Now let's talk about the real-world application of using the spot on the wall during a game. Here's an example of 8 ball where you need to make the game-winning shot with the kick shot. In practice, you do not need to locate the spot on the walls for each pocket before the game. You just need to test out the track lines. If there's no opportunity to test the track lines, you just have to use the second diamond and hope for the best. Assuming you know the track lines, when it comes time for a corner kick shot, just sight the track line and find the spot on the wall at that time. Go to the cue ball and shoot it towards the spot. Now that we've covered the first spot on the wall, let's look at the other one. The first converging point does not work for cue ball positions on the right side of the second diamond line simply because it is past the kick line. Any balls past the second diamond line will kick out wide to the short rail if the first spot on the wall is used. So a second point is needed, but it's very easy to find. You just need to know the correct track line, and this track line connects the bottom second diamond to the corner pocket diamond. And the aiming point is the first diamond on the top rail. Shoot with a medium stroke with no spin, and the cue ball should kick directly into the pocket. You locate the converging point or spot on the wall in the exact same way. Lower your eye line to table height and look down the track line. Find an object or mark to be a spot on the wall. Now that you have your second spot on the wall, you can use it as an aiming point for any corner kick shot when the cue ball is in any spot in this area of the table. Shoot with medium stroke with no spin. Just try not to scratch. So far, we've been focusing on table width kick shots. Let's talk about table length kick shots. Table length kick shots seem more intimidating because of the distance. But the truth is, it's not difficult if you know how. You can use the angle in, angle out method to determine the aiming point, but this can be hard due to distance. It is very easy to make a small misjudgment that results in a miss. For table length kick shots, I recommend the spot on the wall hack. First, find the tracking line between the two bottom corner pockets. And it is easy, as the aiming point is the center diamond on the top rail. Hit with your medium stroke with no spin, and the cue ball should kick into the bottom corner pocket. Sight the tracking line as before, and locate your spot on the wall. I've indicated my spot on the wall with the red light for your visual reference. Now, as with table width kick shots, for table length kick shots, 2 spot on the wall converging points are needed as well. This first spot on the wall that we identified is for cue ball positions on the left side of the table. Regardless of the cue ball's position in this half of the table, simply aim at the spot on the wall and shoot with medium stroke with no spin. For shots from the other side of the table nearer the target corner pocket, you need another spot on the wall and another tracking line. Do you know where the tracking line is? It is from the bottom center diamond to the bottom corner pocket, and the aiming point is the first diamond on the top rail. This forms an isosceles triangle. I'll adjust the red light to indicate the second spot on the wall. Like before, you can use the spot as an aiming point for any corner pocket kick shot when the cue ball is in any spot on this half of the table. Shoot with medium stroke with no spin. This guide will not be complete without a discussion of kick shots to the side pocket. It is possible to use the spot on the wall hack to kick at the object wall, but I personally don't use it because there's much less margin of error for the side pocket. You can use the first spot on the wall tracking line in reverse to determine the aiming point for the side pocket. In my case, 1 inch to the left of the second diamond on the top rail. But as you can see, it is tough to be accurate. I find using the angle in, angle out method to determine the kick aiming point is better for me. Finally, it is also possible to make side pocket kicks for table length shots. As mentioned before, using the angle in, angle out method can be difficult for table length kicks, so I use the spot on the wall with an adjustment. From before, we know that the first spot on the wall from this half of the table will send the cue ball to the bottom right corner pocket. So all we need to do is widen the angle to send the cue ball in the direction of the side pocket. I can make an adjustment by either hitting to the right of the spot on the wall or using right spin, which is what I prefer. With the right adjustment, I can contact the object ball. Well, that's it for this video. I know it has been a long one, but I really wanted this guide to be as comprehensive as possible so that most scenarios are covered. My humble suggestion is to work on the kick shots with a medium stroke and no spin first. Get those shots down before introducing spin. I also recommend learning both the angle in, angle out method and spot on the wall so you can use either based on the situation. You can also use each to double check the kick aiming point if you're unsure. This is similar to the hybrid aiming method I shared in a previous video. Let me know if you found this video useful and if you have any other tips to make a one-rail kick shot. Share them in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It'll really help the channel out with the YouTube algorithm. Every miss makes us better, so let's grow together. My name is JC. Try not to miss again.